Pittsburgh, I love Pittsburgh. Are most of you from Pittsburgh? Yeah? Yeah, no, it's a beautiful city. It's a beautiful area.
Would you care to say a few things or take questions? Whatever you're comfortable
Well,
with.
I was saying a few things until you.
I'll just go over here.
Don't make me come over there. I'm teasing.
All right.
So yeah. So anyway, yeah, I think that if you guys got questions, we can just feel free to. I mean, do you want me to just like tell you a bunch of lies first before I ask the question? I can make shit up. I can. Lies, lots of lies. Yeah.
We're gullible, we'll believe it.
Listen, I'm one of the most gullible people in the world. Please don't take advantage of me. What's that?
It's an
Jar Jar.
alarm clock.
What is it? Yeah? Is that like Jar Jar Binks
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
Why?
Someone told her you did the voice for Jar Jar Binks, and she believed it.
If I did, I want my money.
She's gonna have the autograph.
I had a crush on him as a kid.
Did you really?
He was my first love.
Jar Jar Binks?
Yeah.
Sorry, Bill. Things got better.
No.
I have to, that's one of the most annoying characters ever.
It's,
I really
it's
like.
an alarm clock.
Is it? That
Yeah.
would make it even more annoying.
No, it's great.
What kind of noises does it make?
It like lines from the movie.
Really?
Yeah. It's great. I'm so excited.
That's so good. And you just got it?
Yeah.
How much did it cost? No, it's okay. But anyway, yeah. So, if you guys do you have any questions about what I've done or why I'm here or what?
And Doug will come around with a wireless microphone. Just raise your hand.
Hi. So, what was the Walter P. Skinner action figure capable of doing, Mitch Pileggi, if hers makes Jar Jar Binks noises or what?
Walter P. Where'd the P come
Is
from?
that his middle name?
No, it's Sergey.
Sergey, Walter S.
I
Skinner.
don't know where he came up with Sergey, but Chris was very proud
But
of
don't
fact
dodge
that-
the question, sir.
Yeah, I'm
Answer the
trying,
question.
man. I'm dancing as fast as I
Answer the question. What
can.
did your action figure do? It did nothing. It stood there.
It-
Hers makes noise.
It does make noise, and actually my action figure looks more like J.K. Simmons than it does like me. So, I mean, really, am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know where they must have scanned him and put my name on it. Actually, years and years ago, somebody came up to me at one of these things, and they had created an action figure, and they took the body off of. Oh God, I don't know, some character, and they used Picard's head, and they just colored the hair brown, and I think they carved out the nose a little bit. But I thought that was very interesting, and they had actually packaged it and everything, and I was very flattered. A long time ago, when I was like before they started making these other things, but. Yeah, so he doesn't do anything. No, he just he's got a suit that doesn't an ill-fitting suit, and he just kind of just lays there. So am I. Don't know how to do that. Anyway, so was that.
Well, I'm not defending Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, it sounded like you were. There was some anger there. There was some anger going. Right? Am I right?
I think so. He's calmed down.
Yeah.
Next question over here.
Yeah, hi, Mitch.
Hey, how you doing?
Out of kind of a little tribute to Wes Craven, do you have any cool stories of working with him on with Shocker? And could you do a little bit of the Forrest Finger laugh, possibly?
Yeah, no. If I hear myself laugh like that one more time, I'm going to kill myself. Everything about working with Wes was there's a great story to it, and as far as recreating stuff, Horace at the they recently re-released the Shocker on Blu-ray, and at the end of it they did I guess there was a bunch of interviews, and they came and interviewed me for it, and at the end of the interview they asked me to recreate the line "No More Mr. Nice Guy" like they did in the trailer, and I was like, okay, and I tried doing it, and it was like I was laughing my ass off. It was so ridiculous, and I was trying so hard to get that Horace Pinker sense of Horace Pinker in there, but it was just like, so I haven't even seen it, I don't know how it turned out, or if they even kept that stuff, but it was like, I was howling trying to do that. And I had so much fun doing the character of Horace Pinker and working with Wes Craven. I can't watch the movie because the performance is so over the top, but it was funny because Wes kept encouraging me, kept going, more, give me more, and I'm like going, oh, dude, Wes, really? You ruined my career. And it hasn't even started yet. But you know, Wes was one of the sweetest guys that I've ever had the pleasure of working with, and I had the great opportunity of working with him, like, I think 4 times. He just he had this great sense of humor, and it was kind of a corny sense of humor, but it was like, coming from him, it was so endearing, and he's just such a sweet man, or he was such a sweet man, and we miss him. We all miss him terribly. We did a panel recently with a bunch of Robert Englund was there, and Heather Langenkamp, and a bunch of the actors from Scream were on the panel, and it was after Wes had died, and we kind of did a little tribute to him. It was really interesting to hear everybody's take on working with Wes and some of their stories, and it was heartwarming and touching, and I think we all loved him a lot. So,
Okay,
anybody else?
next question? Right over here.
Don't be shy.
Oh, no. I have no idea what she's going to ask.
That's okay.
Do you like playing as the character Skinner in the X-Files?
Yes, sweetheart, I do, very much. I had a great time playing Skinner. I was working with a great group of people, and thank you for asking me that. I appreciate that. Yeah, I had a great time, and it's coming back and playing the character again was a treat. It's a big part of my life. It's a big part of my career. I met my wife while I was doing the show. My daughter was born while I was doing the show, you know, and I was introduced to Vancouver, which I love. Yeah, you know, and hopefully, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully we get to keep doing it. You know.
Got another one right here.
All right.
This kind of like it's kind of a two-parter.
Oh
So,
my God.
I promise. So the first part is actually thank you. My husband and I have been doing a very slow rewatch of X-Files from season 1, episode 1. We're in season 4 now. And there's an episode where you appear in your tidy whities. And I have to thank you because my husband is watching this and goes, God, I gotta lose some weight. So thank you for that.
Any way I can help.
You have to start. Related to that, it was scenes like that. Are you uncomfortable doing something like that? Or are you like, this is just part of the role, or is it like you had to psych yourself up to get, you know?
No, I like to take my clothes off. No, it wasn't. I had done. No, that was after that, wasn't it? No, it was before that. I actually did a play where I had to be completely nude for the first 10 minutes of the first act and the second act, and so Frankie and Johnny and the Claire Balloon. It was. I had nothing on. And I kind of got to like it after a while. You know, first rehearsal was a little weird, but after that I was like, I became an exhibitionist. So they keep telling me to put my clothes back on when I was. You know, it wasn't uncomfortable. It was the main thing was that, and Jillian asked me this recently. She goes, "How much were you working out back then to keep this steak?" And I knew if they ever asked me to take my shirt off, and I knew they were going to, that I was going to look really good. You know, so it was, and to this day, I still got that philosophy that I just, you know, I have to get into the gym and work out and stay in shape, you know. But and so that because of that, I felt fine about it. You know, and the underwear were clean and yeah.
Well, kind of related to this question is, when you go into a role, are you able to just walk on set and be like, okay, let's go, or do you have to have a little bit of a ritual to get yourself in the mind space of it?
No, I kind of, you know what, it depends if I'm really lazy, I kind of just do that. But if I really, you know, I'm a lazy person, unfortunately. But when I did a role on Criminal Minds that was very different from most stuff that I do. I had the opportunity to play a character that was very, very different, something that I don't usually get cast doing. And because I felt like I was really having the opportunity to act, I really submerged myself more into that character than I usually do, because a lot of the stuff is, I mean, like Caldwell on Stargate Atlantis was basically Skinner with a flight suit on. You know, and that there's I think that happens a lot. I like to really put myself into the right mindset. I do a lot of visualization when I'm acting, and so that if there's any ritual to it, it's that I take a few moments to totally put in my mind where I'm at, who I'm talking to, what I'm talking about, why I'm talking to them about this, what is, you know, who they are, where we're at, the atmosphere. I just kind of totally immerse myself in the surroundings and the atmosphere of everything that's going on, and I kind of do that visualization. So that's pretty much how I. But sometimes I get lazy, and it pisses me off that I do that. Sometimes I just kind of we'll do give a performance without putting the proper work into it. Guilty.
Right, over here. Hi. We're gonna run it back and forth, so we do this.
How did you get along with William B. Davis, Cancer Man, really in real life? Because your scenes are
This is a setup. This is a setup. No, I'm kidding. Well, you get along fine with Bill. It's you know, he's a really good actor, and he's a great character. And it was fun to be able to play against him in my character, with his character, because it developed from a situation where you thought that you know, Skinner was in cahoots with the cigarette smoking man, and eventually you realized that Skinner was a man who had principles, and once he realized what cigarette smoking man, who he was and what he was doing, what he was about, he didn't want any part of it. And then he realized the value of what Mulder and Scully was doing, and eventually he became their champion within the FBI.
Right. You guys sat there in your office just staring at each other.
And smoking cigarettes, and then no smoking sign, and and stuff like that. So they started using those little things, and to the point where there was one episode in particular that. Where Skinner came to the realization that cigarette smoking man, it was a scene with Mulder and cigarette smoking man and Skinner, and he realized in his office, and he realized at a certain point that he was being lied to by the cigarette smoking man. And he goes, and his line was, get the hell out of my office. And cigarette smoking man thought that I was talking to Mulder, when in fact I was telling him to get out of my office.
And it was interesting the fact that I read also that William B. Davis didn't really smoke in real life.
I used to feel he used to smoke years and years ago, but I felt so bad for Bill, because even he was smoking clove cigarettes, which were really stinky. But every season, the first scene that he had where he had to smoke one of those things, he would just turn green. So he had to get he would always, at the beginning of the seasons, he would always have to get used to, once again and he was smoking the hell out of those cigarettes too, those, whatever they were, but which was the character, and it's almost like he was devouring these cigarettes. I felt so bad for him when he would have to go through that whole deal, because he would literally just look like he was ready to pass out. He would get dizzy, and it was I felt bad for him.
Over here.
What is your favorite part about coming to conventions like this?
I first of all, I get to meet the people that make it possible for me to have a career. And I meet some really, really, really lovely people, and and they're all over the country. So I get to, from every region, I get to meet different, different types of people, and you guys are, as much as you guys are a fan of us, you have to know that we're fans of you too, for coming to our table, to come to talk to us, for coming to this. It's very important to us, and so you're as big a part of our lives as you may think that we are, if you do think we are part of your life, if that makes any sense at all. But I do get to meet a lot of lovely, lovely people. And the fact that I get to meet such a range in age, knowing that there are fans of the X-Files who are like, 10, 11 years old now. And this is a show that started back in 1992. So it's incredibly gratifying to know that it's held up that long and still has an impact on people, and also I get to be a fanboy. I get to meet other actors that I've never met before, and I get to see other actors that I have worked with before that I haven't seen in a long time. So you get to have small reunions, and so it's really, and I get to travel all over the place, and that's great, So it's a great experience. Each and every one of them is a great experience for me. Over here. No, you already asked your question. No, you got your Jar Jar Binks thing going on.
So here's my real question.
Okay.
So if I remember correctly, going back to 1992, X-Files was the lead-in for Briscoe County Jr. on Friday nights. Is that right?
I believe so, yeah.
So Briscoe lasted one season. X-Files ran for how many seasons?
10.
So did you think back then that the show would go that long, that you'd have that many episodes to do, and it would have that impact on your career?
Well, I didn't start out right away. The first season, I didn't start out until towards the end of the first season, when Jill became pregnant, and they needed somebody to come in and fill, when she was gone. Fortunate for me, that worked out. But David used to say, when he first started doing the show, he used to say 6 episodes, and he goes, this ain't going anyplace. Nobody's interested in this crap. And I don't know if he said it exactly like that, but he so after it started, I think we won the Golden Globe first season or second season. It was like maybe second season. I can't remember, but I remember I was in a restaurant and I knew that the Golden Globes were on, and I knew that we were nominated, and I was at dinner and somebody came up to the table and said, "Congratulations, Mr. Pileggi, the show just won a Golden Globe." And I was like, "Holy shit!" Okay, but I don't think anybody had any idea that it was going to have the legs that it had, and that it was going to have the popularity and the staying power that it's had over all these many years. Because really, that's a long time and the fact that to me says that we have the best fans in the business, in the world. We really do, because it's like, what other show has had their fans stay with them for what is it? My math is bad, so it's just a long time. And so for us, we all dig it. David loves it. Jill loves it. It's like it's just very, and that's why David and Jillian are starting to do, or have been doing more and more of these things, because of their appreciation for your appreciation for us. So it plays both ways. Did I answer the question, or did I just go off on a tangent? Because I do that, man. I'm just like sometimes I go haywire.
Got one for you right here.
Okay, the Pileggi's called out for some questions, so I got some from Twitter. I'm going to kind of roll through.
Pileggi's.
Pileggi's. All right.
That's my fan club, Pileggi, P-L-E-G-G-I-E-S. There's so many right here, and they're awesome. They're the best.
Okay, at Sarah
Get over
Blair.
I'm sorry, baby. What?
That's all right. Oh, sorry. At Sarah Blair wants to know bubble bath or shower, and then Majda O wants to know what was your reaction when you read that script and the bubble bath scene from Hollywood AD.
Shower.
Okay.
First of all. No. After a hard day of skiing or being up here, I bet there's a lot of hot baths being taken. When I read the scene of the yeah, it was I don't really anticipate or go, oh my God, I gotta do that. All I know is that I was the third one in the bathtub, and it was the water had not been changed. So David to this day says, because he was directing it, I think. Did he direct that? Yeah. He goes, no, we changed the water. I go, dude, I was there, I saw it. Jillian got in, then you got in, then I got in. And I said, that is it.
Sorry.
But no, he swears that they changed the water. I'm like, no way. Number 3 on the call sheet. But it was fun. I mean, I had chocolate strawberries and champagne, and I was having a bubble bath.
Did they want it freezing cold, or did they at least?
No, they warmed it. They
Okay.
warmed it up. And no, actually, it wasn't really that warm. It was kind of, it was
Tepid.
kind of weird stuff floating on the top.
Okay, let's get a few more. We're here.
I had fun doing it though. It was fun, and I'm glad it turned out the way it turned out. I love what they did with the split, 3-way screens. So that's David's humor. He wrote that too, right? Yeah. So you guys know more about the show than I do. So
That's usually often the case.
it is.
We were talking earlier about Supernatural. I was just curious, what was it like working with Jared and Jensen and Misha and all those other guys, especially from season 6?
They're the best. They really are such. I've mostly worked with Jared and Jensen, and I've become good friends with them over the years. It was really I was so impressed by the way that they handled themselves, carried themselves, because these are 2 young guys that all of a sudden got just a ton of money and a ton of fame and everything that you want thrown at them, and when I think I worked with them. The first episode was on third season? Fourth season, thanks.
It was one where Dean went back in time.
Yeah, right, okay. But I mean, they'd been doing it for 4 seasons, so they'd had all this attention and stuff like that, and a lot of times that'll really screw it. The young person's head up. They handled themselves so well, and I actually took Jensen aside and I said, I really have to commend it to you guys for really keeping your head screwed on right, because this is really heady stuff, and you've handled it extremely well. And they still have to this day. You see the stuff that they do. You see what they do for people. I mean, it's like that right there speaks to who they are, and what they're like. But they're just really great dudes. And a lot of the crew from Supernatural was our X-Files crew. So that was, for me, it was like hanging out with my family again.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. There's a lot of the folks are they went over to Supernatural because Kim Manners was running the show until he passed away for a number of years there. And he brought a lot of that amazing crew that we had on the X-Files over to Supernatural, which was smart. But it, plus I was up in Vancouver again, and it was fun, and they're a lot of fun to work with. So it was a great experience. And I mean, it's like, I was doing a play in Austin. This is the kind of people that they are. I was doing a play in Austin at the beginning of the year, and Jared and Jensen have houses in Austin, and Jared was up in Vancouver shooting, and I knew that Genevieve was in town, and I said, I texted Jared and I said, if Jen wants to come to the play, I'll get her tickets. She can come and see it, And he goes, yeah, I'll talk to her about it. So we were doing a Sunday performance, a Sunday matinee, and I was living up in Dallas at the time. So after Sunday matinees, I would just go straight from dressing room, get in my car, go back up to Dallas, drive up to Dallas. So I did that. I get up to Dallas, and I always turned my phone off when in the dressing room. My phone was always off. So I got back up to Dallas, turned my phone on, and there's a picture of Jared and Genevieve standing out in the lobby of the theater waiting for me to come out. And that was the only performance, because after every performance, I would always go out in the lobby and talk to the audience, some of the people that were hanging around, and just chat with them for a while. That was the only time that I didn't go out in the lobby after the performance. And he was like, they're both standing there in front of the poster of the play, you know, and I was like, I called him immediately. I said, dude, I'm so sorry. He said, you can't do it. He'd flown down from Vancouver, you know, and I mean, I'm sure a large part of it was to see his family, but you know, they came and saw this matinee, and I said, I'm horrified that I didn't, you know, get to come out and say thank you to you guys.
They put some real pitiful looks on their faces.
Oh, they were just, it was like, yeah, sad dog. Oh, I miss you. But you know, it was, that's just the kind of sweet things that, you know, they're just very, very thoughtful people. And I love them both.
Let's get a few more. One or two more. Right up front here.
Do you have any stories from the set of Sons of Anarchy?
You know, I didn't get to do all that many episodes of Sons, and a lot of it was because I was doing other stuff, and I wasn't always available, but I wish I'd been able to do more. It was a great group of people to work with, and I still, you know, I was just did one of these things with, you know, Tommy Flanagan and Emilio Rivera and Michael Beach, and they're just, you know, what I can say is that on all these shows that you work on, you develop these relationships and these families, familial, you know, feelings towards the people that you're working with, and you want to maintain those things as years go by, and sometimes you go off to under another project and develop another, you know, new relationships, but you can always come back and like when I see these guys, it's just you know, it's great. I just know like working with like Emilio is this guy now they're doing a spin-off of Sons based on the Mayan motorcycle gang, and so he's going to be doing it, you know, and I said Emilio, remember Darby at the end of the series, he married a Latina girl, so which I thought was brilliant for them to do that, because you know coming from a white supremacist meth dealing pimp to, you know, a guy who was working a regular job and married a Latina and was happy until they showed back up in his life again. But it was, you know, it was always fun. I wish I had been able to ride a motorcycle, but I wasn't part of the club. What's that?
They didn't like you very much.
They didn't like me. Boy, they gave me his licks. As a matter of fact, there was one time we were doing a table read, and I don't know if you recall that almost every scene that I had with Clay, he ended up punching me.
Yes.
So we're sitting around the table, all the actors are there, all the producers are there, and we have a guy reading the stage directions, and the stage direction is the beginning of the scene, or whatever, Clay punches Darby. And I go, well, that's a fucking surprise. I'm sorry, sweetie. And everybody just bust out laughing. And so they changed it. So they had me hitting him first. Well, Ron wasn't very happy about it. So I think we ended up going back. I think we ended up hitting each other at the same time or something. But it was like, it changes up a little bit. But you know, they were all a really good. It was a great group of people to work with once again. And the tats were interesting because they would ask me at the end of the day if I was working the next day. They said, "Do you want us to leave the tats on?" And I was like, "No, put them back on again tomorrow. I don't want to go home with a swastika on my neck for my 8-year-old daughter." What's that, Daddy? Oh, it's nothing, baby. Pretty.
And let's do one more question. Mitch will be heading back to his table as soon as the Q&A is over. So if you didn't have a chance to ask him a question, or if you just want to chat and get a photo, he will be back at his table as soon as we're done signing. He'll be signing as soon as we're done.
Got a question right here for you.
How was doing the show in Dallas when they redid it?
I had so much fun.
Did you like it?
I had so
I was
much
so sad to
fun.
see it being canceled. They only did, I think, what, 2 seasons?
We did 3, and what happened was somebody came in, they had a change in regime at the top of TNT, And usually when that happens, whoever comes in brings in their own shows. And this guy wasn't, I don't even know if he'd ever even seen the show. But he had no interest in it, so they just pulled the plug. But I got to work with Judith Light. I got to work with some amazing people, and he was a really fun character to play, you know. And I got to really have fun being a bad guy, you know. And I got to kiss Brenda Strong, and you know, so it was. But I worked with it. It was a wonderful. Once again, I've been very fortunate. I don't think there's any show that I've ever been a regular on that the cast has been, you know. There's been problems with the cast. So I've been very, very fortunate. But it was, I was very sad when they pulled the plug because I was living in Dallas and we were having a great time doing the show. And yeah, it was fun.
There you have it. Mitch Pileggi, I think you guys
Thank you
know what
so
to do. So we're heading back to his table. Yeah, I think you got it. I think that's well earned. So we're heading back to the table with sign.
Great talking to y'all. Have fun.
Cheers. Thank you, Mitch. He's still in the room.